travel insurance, how to get the best travel insurance, where to get it from, and do you actually really need it, and some loopholes. I'm about to explain everything in this video for you all. We're not going to do it outside because it is loud and they're drilling. Welcome to Bali. So you guys are going to come here in my, hope you don't mind, being in my little villa room for a little bit. Now, getting travel insurance, a lot of people have asked me this question, and it's something that is really important for a lot of people. So the first thing I want to touch on is what travel insurance, Luke? What do I do? How does it work? And one thing that really matters is it's where are you going? This is one of the most important things when you have travel insurance. For example, if you want the easy answer, you just want to get out of this video, world nomads, if you want an easy answer. But I think it's important to understand how travel insurance works, so if you go with another company, you understand. Why I say number one is that you know what country you're going to, because some countries, it's very cheap health insurance. I can give you an example of when I was in Ukraine, I had travel insurance. Being a resident in the European Union, I have like the European Union travel insurance, I have a French travel insurance, and I booked a special travel insurance. And I was like, which one do I use when I go to the dentist? And I didn't need any of them. Like, it was just much cheaper to pay out of pocket, much less hassle. Going to the dentist to get a cavity filled, for example, was like $10, whereas in the States, that's hundreds of dollars. So it's really important that you know where you're going, because I'll tell you the price of the healthcare. And the second thing is to be very careful with when you're trying to find what the healthcare is, to understand that there's a lot of loopholes in a lot of these agencies. Like, there's a lot of things, like you have to have proof of your ticket. Like, for example, I know I've had someone told me about this, is they had health insurance and travel insurance, and they got into a scooter accident, and they went to use their health insurance, the travel insurance on the scooter, but there was a clause in there that said you have to show proof of an international driver's license, which they didn't have. So they missed out on that. So that's something that's really important to know. Another thing that's super important to know with travel insurance is you have to, most of the time, every travel insurance that I've had, World Nomads was the best by far, because most travel insurance, you got to read the fine print. You have to be in the country of your departure when you're booking when you're booking with them to be covered. And this sounds cool because it's like, well, I'm at home, of course I'm going to book it. But what you got to remember is if you're traveling long term, or something changes in your plans, and let's say you're here, but you're a resident of America, for example, you have to start your trip there for a lot of insurance agencies. So this is what a problem was, where World Nomads stood out to me, because World Nomads lets you book it wherever you are. So I'm in Bali right now, and as an American citizen, or I could be French, whichever one I choose to use on the application, but I'd have to be there to use that insurance. And one little hack that I'd like to kind of get out to you guys, I know this is really out of order because I don't have anything written down. This was on my mind, and I read your guys' comments and travel insurance comes up. But one thing that people don't know about travel insurance is if you have like a Visa or a MasterCard, you have health insurance with there. Now, all this stuff, like I'm saying, there's clause, like this is stuff that was explained to me by different banks and different things as I've been traveling 12 years in different countries. And there's a health insurance that naturally comes with your MasterCard. You have like 90 days. So whenever I would travel somewhere, I'd book it on my MasterCard, and I know that for 90 days that I was covered. And I actually upgraded one of my cards to gold. I think it's MasterCard Gold or something like this, because when you do that, you pay like an extra fee per month, but the insurance for the card, it lasts 180 days. So I was covered for 6 months on just using my MasterCard to book my flight. That's what I did when I came out to Asia, because I was super paranoid I was worried about food poisoning, dengue, I didn't know all this stuff, scooters, there were so many things on my mind, so I was really nervous. And a thing that I like to say about a lot of people is, because everyone, especially Americans that reach out to me, and I'm American, this is nothing about Americans, but they're like, I want to just make sure we get the best quality of healthcare when I come out there, and I don't know which one to get. And it's just like, well, what would happen if you got really sick in your country? Like, I'm American, I know that. Like, if you got sick in your country, it'd be really expensive. And I can guarantee you anything that you need done in the States, it will cost you at least usually a third of it in any other country. So that's something to really keep in mind. Like I told you, this is one little story to give you an idea of the insurance and how things aren't so as expensive. This is probably like 4 or 5 months ago, I was riding down the street in the middle of the night, probably about 11:30 at night, riding my scooter, and there's like these cars stopped in front of me, and I go around them, and there's just a guy passed out with his bike slammed against the wall, and he's laying there. He has his helmet on, but he's just laying there bleeding, sprawled out. And, you know, it happened that he was French and no one could speak. I had to speak to him and translate for everyone. Or I had to translate so I could tell him what happened because I didn't see it. I translated other people's. And, you know, he ended up not being able to walk. He didn't want to trust anyone. He only wanted to be around me. And I was asking him, do you have insurance? Are you using the French card? Like, what are you doing? He doesn't have any. So I take him to the emergency room. And we get there and he gets seen, he gets checked, they stitch him up, they patch him up, and it took about an hour. During that time period, I went back to go and get his bike and bring it to him. And when I came back, he was paying. He was paying for the bill. So I was like, I wonder what this bill's gonna cost. He went to this little small emergency room. He had cuts all over his face. He got stitched up. He got cleaned up. They gave him a sack with a bunch of medicine for him to take. And that entire bill, I remember it was 730,000 rupiah, which is the equivalent to like 60 bucks. No, not even. It's like 50 bucks. Cost him $50 to go to the emergency room. It's a $500 minimum in the States to go to the emergency room. Well, last time I lived there 15 years ago. So I think that's important when it comes to travel insurance. So when you come and travel overseas, it's good to know what country you're going to. Know this first. See what the cost of just the medical insurance is there. Because if you're coming from a really Western society, if you're coming from America mostly, because I think America has one of the most complicated health systems that I've ever seen or been a part of, it's much different. And if you're used to European, where you go see a doctor, it's 23 euros and that's the price, then it's almost like, it's good to keep yourself covered for big emergencies. I think travel insurance is great for big emergencies, like you need to be helivacted out, like you need a helicopter to come get you. World Nomads covers you on there. I'm not sponsored by them either. I've paid them a lot of money throughout the years traveling. But you want to make sure that you're covered in the accidents and you read the clauses. The clauses are the most important part. Read through it. If you know you're going to be riding a scooter, if you know you're going to be doing this, read through it, because there's always like the fine print on there that you don't know about. So that's what I'd say about travel insurance. If you have any other questions about it, let me know. Price, I know people are going to probably ask about the price of the travel insurance. For example, when I did World Nomads, I booked it from my hotel in New York before I came to Asia. And when you book it, you're going to have to choose the countries you're going to. That's all covered in your contract. So I believe I put Thailand, the Philippines, Vietnam, and I think Japan. I put those on there. And as you add countries, the price is going to go up or down. So if you add America to World Nomad, the price is going to jack up because it's so expensive if you go see. But they do cover you, and they cover you really quick. I never had to use them, thank goodness. But I know people who have, and people are really into World Nomads, as it saved their life. Like, no joke. If you need a big procedure or something like this, and understand that for the price of it came to almost about $100 a month. That's what it covered. But you knew you were safe, and especially right now in society where there's even clauses in a lot of the travel contracts that when you're traveling, it will cover your electronics. So I think I paid an extra. I can't remember what it was, maybe 20 bucks per month to have all of my electronics covered. So in case someone stole it or is lost on the plane, there's a lot of benefits to it. I almost used it for an electronics thing because I'm like, well, that's usually it's more likely for that to happen. That's what I believe. And so that was really good. They covered all your stuff there. They covered a lot of canceled flights. There's a lot of different insurances. If you're coming from a European country, I would just ask about the travel insurance that you can get for like the EU. For example, like when I travel in the EU, I can go to any hospital and I'm covered being in the EU. And that's something that people don't know about. But the MasterCard thing was really cool. I was really excited when someone told me about that. And that would be it for me. If there's something else you guys have, any other questions you have about travel insurance when you're traveling, which right now I think is kind of important. If you're brand new to a country and you're paranoid or something like this, get something very simple, get a very basic plan, and just to make sure, like for example, in 2020, in March, I redid my plan for 3 months because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know, no one really knew. So I wanted a full plan, and like I say, I think it was 4 months that I had the plan for, and it cost me about 400 euros. So, and that was an upgraded plan. Like you could get the basic one, it'd be even cheaper. But if you can add your insurance to it, I mean, the insurance to cover your flight, your baggage, and your electronics, that makes it well worth it. For example, you're paying $100 maybe for the month, but if you lose a $1,500 camera or a $2,000 computer, you know you're going to be covered for that. So that's something that's really important. But always look at the clauses. a lot of the clauses, like you have to have a medical insurance maybe if you miss your flight. Like you have to have proof that you had your computer with you. Do you have the receipt for it? There's a lot of clauses that you need to read, and the contract wasn't so difficult for world nomads. So hope this helped you out. If I had to give you like, Luke, should I get health insurance when I'm traveling? I'd say if you were really paranoid about something, get it. If it was me and I was starting to travel again, I probably, if I didn't have cash, like I didn't have an extra $1,500 on the side to cover something in a third world country, for example, which is a lot for healthcare, I would book the very basic healthcare, the very basic travel insurance. So I think it's like around $50. It's the backpacker package, I believe it is. And just to have it, just to give you peace of mind. And for $50 for peace of mind or $100 for peace of mind, that's a good deal. So it depends on you. Check the country you're going to. If you have any other questions on this, leave me a comment down below. And I hope this helped you to find travel insurance and to help you know more about where you're going and if it's even worth it for you to get it. So yeah, that's kind of it. Just want to make this video for you. Hope it helped you out. Speak to you guys later. Vlogs coming up. We'll have some cool videos coming up soon for you all. Comments, any other questions you have about travel, leave it here. I'm attending a Tony Robbins event right now, so I'm kind of like, I'm literally in my own little, like no one's here. I'm isolated doing my own resting. I'm trying to rest, but I always got to feel like I'm serving you guys. So want to provide value so I can really record these videos quick and get them out to you. Any other questions, leave it in the comments below. I can do a part 2 of this video if it's even required. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. And yeah, if you're interested, I've started something new as well. 6, 12, and 18-month coaching packages with me. If you're interested, drop me an email. All the information is below. If you're traveling and getting travel insurance, World Nomads, check them out. Read about it for yourself. And yeah, that's it, guys. See you later. And in the meantime, remember to work hard, be brave. Don't forget to smile. Ciao.